Today we're gonna make some gravy in our Instant Pot. Gravy to go over mashed potatoes. My kids love gravy, and it's really easy to do in the Instant Pot, especially if you've already cooked some meat in the Instant Pot, which has given you some broth to use. It makes it super easy. Even if you don't have broth, you can also just use store-bought beef broth or chicken broth, whatever, that makes it really yummy. Today, we're gonna use some broth that I had from the short ribs that I made. If you go and check out that video, you'll see I made some short ribs, which are super yummy, and it gave me a lot of broth, and so I'm gonna use most of that broth, but I'm also gonna use just some broth that I have on hand. And so I'm gonna have 3 cups beef broth, 4 tablespoons butter, and 1/4 of a cup of flour. So I'm gonna start off by melting my butter in the Instant Pot. The Instant Pot here is warm, so I'm just gonna put my butter in, put my butter in and see how it melts. And then I'll turn it to saute. I'm gonna need it on saute, so I'm gonna turn it to saute. You're gonna melt your butter, and then you're gonna put your flour in and kind of make a roux. It gives it some really good flavor to do this right after you've cooked some meat, because you have some of those, you still have some flavor in the bottom of the pan pot here, and so it kind of gives it some flavor. Okay, that butter's all melted, so we're just gonna sprinkle some flour in there. 1/4 cup of flour. So see how that's kind of just forming a nice roux. Let it cook just for a minute. So cooking those short ribs gave me 2 cups of beef broth, and then I'm just adding another cup. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna start adding some beef broth in there. And I'm just gonna start slow as you go, because sometimes it's kind of hard to just make it so it's not lumpy. So just keep whisking as you go. And even if there are some lumps, just keep whisking, and it normally makes them all come out eventually. So whisk away, it's looking good. Now I'm gonna ask you to add this other cup of beef broth in there, and then we're just gonna let it boil and get thick. Add some salt and pepper. You can also add some other seasonings in there if you want the flavor to be a little bit different. Some herbs are good. Also, another thing that you might not think of that would make it good is some Worcestershire sauce. That kind of adds some depth and flavor to your gravy. It just kind of depends on what flavor you're going for. So we're just gonna let that boil. Super easy, right? And now you've only dirtied 1 pot still. Made your short ribs, and you've done your gravy. And obviously you can also do your potatoes in here if you have another pan, and then it's just 2 pans. And we live in Arizona, and today's temperature is 120, if you can believe that. So I love using this because it doesn't heat up my big oven and heat up the whole kitchen. It does put off some heat, obviously, because it's getting warm, but not nearly as much as the oven does. So in the summertime, this is really useful. Okay, as you can see, it's come to a boil. It's thickening nicely. The last thing that I'm gonna do is add some salt and pepper. And then taste test it, and it's ready to go on the potatoes. Alrighty, and then we're just gonna shut it off. Pour it into our container. Thanks for watching this gravy recipe. We're gonna go have it at our dinner. See you next time. Bye.